The 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games is brought to you by U.S. Army. What's your warrior? Find out at GoArmy.com. By Whoop. Know yourself with personalized insights. Join today at Whoop.com. And by CrossFit. Start your fitness journey, find a local gym, or sign up for a training course at CrossFit.com. It's time to break out the bikes. Event 8 of 12 here at the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games. As action continues at the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. Women are up first, and it's Tia Toomey who has a 180-point lead over Katrin Davidsdottir. Brooke Wells sits in third, and Haley Adams and Carrie Pierce are tied at 25 points apiece. Brooke Wells, as Sean Woodland, Bill Grundler here, don't want to forget about that, but Brooke Wells is in third place overall right now, the highest she's been on the leaderboard. Maybe living up to the expectations a little bit?
Well, yeah, when you come in as second place after that first stage, you expect to see something big, but she still, with all her experience, really seems to ride on her level of confidence in each event. She had, over the course of the last day and a half, 3 fifth-place finishes with her last place, but then 3 top 2 finishes at the same time. So with both of that, she still seems to fall right in that middle position. Now, we have a lot of events left to go, but she really needs to keep her head on straight because every single event really seems to bump that leaderboard between 5th place and 2nd place. So keep the head in the game and really, really have to come after it, especially on these bikes.
She had that win in the handstand sprint, then struggled on the ranch loop, and then a solid performance there in the snatch speed triple. Now, fans are not allowed inside the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. Outside, though, that's a different story. And for more on that, here's Nikki Brazier.
That's right. Adapt and overcome is not reserved only for the athletes. I mean, the fact that we can't have fans down here on the floor because of our COVID-19 safety protocols did not stop these guys from gathering at a safe distance outside of the field of play. And they are absolutely going to be providing some well-needed excitement for the athletes. Check it out. What do you guys got?
So not a huge crowd, but a very enthusiastic one, and I'm sure the athletes will definitely appreciate their presence. The bike repeater presented by U.S. Army, inspired by a regional workout that first showed up in 2014. That one was a sprint and then a legless rope climb, but now we're throwing in a hybrid bike.
And, we think that, it used to be about the legless rope climb. Now it's not that at all. Now it's about the bike and how are they able to handle that. But I love the way it is. It's a down and back on the bike in the grass with that legless rope climb, using that throwback setup. This is going to be a very fun but very different race than we saw in that regional competition.
Yeah, women up first. Tia Toomey, your overall leader. She'll be in lane number 3. Carrie Pierce right now, she's in lane 1, has 325 points. She's 65 back at Davidsdottir for second. That seems like a lot, but remember, you can make up 85 points in one event.
And we see all of these ladies jostling back and forth. She needs to do well in this event. Now, she's tied with Haley, who has been up as high, up in second place. And again, those points are right there. She's tied with her. She's only 25 points back behind Brooke, and not very many behind Katrin, who is now in that second place position. She had a rough beginning, but was able to really pull herself out, and she's gaining momentum. So today, a first, a second, and a third in the last 3 events. So this is a great event for her, and you know what? She loves the bike.
And of course, everybody is chasing that woman, Tia Toomey, who so far has made this competition look easy. She has won 5 of the 7 events so far.
And for the most part, I think it's the niche events that hurt her, but I still don't think this is that niche for her.
All right, event 8, the bike repeater presented by the U.S. Army is underway. Bill, let's take a look at the keys for this event.
Well, it all comes down to the details. That's why we say the devil is in the details. Not just about how can you ride a bike, but it's about transition. You'll watch them get down here to the end of the field. They have to get around that bike. They have to get back on that bike. How do they handle the gearings of the bike? What do they do with the rope climb? And how do they handle the rope climb? There are a lot of transitions and a lot of things to deal with, so the ones that can master those are going to be the best. After that, it's all about the bike. You're going to spend the maximum amount of time on this event on the bike. The rope climb nowadays is just a turnaround more than anything. It used to be this was a big deal, especially for the ladies, but that's not the case anymore. This really is a bike race.
Katrin Davidsdottir in the light blue pants was the first woman to make the turn. She's in the lead. Tia Toomey is in second as they approach their first legless rope climb.
Catherine was extremely excited about this event. She said earlier before this race even started, I love the bike. Because we're spending so much time on the bike, it's all about the bike. So she can even handle, if she's a little worried about the rope climb, she can handle taking a little bit of a break on there or getting through there because she'll make up the distance on that bike. Nice kick to the top.
Davidsdottir was first to finish the first bike loop, but it was Tia Toomey who takes the lead on her first of 10 legless rope climbs. Leader's name that is highlighted in blue will indicate that that person is leading the event. The number of repetitions that woman has completed will be in the white box. The bike counts as one, the legless rope climb counts as one, so 20 total repetitions in this event, scored repetitions.
And we saw that there was that change on the rope climb between Tia and Catherine. Catherine really came out hard on that first bike ride, and I think what's going to be important is push the first half of the bike, push the middle half of that bike, and then that last quarter just kind of coast in so you have a little bit of a breather, because you need to go directly from the bike and on the rope. You can't get to the rope and then sit there and wait. You don't have that ability to afford that time loss.
Tia Toomey slightly ahead of Catherine Davidsdottir on this second of 10 rounds. It'll be back to the rope and then one more legless rope climb and then hopping back on the bike. 2 minutes, 25 seconds gone by so far, and these athletes did get to practice on these bikes a little bit on Thursday, so it's not like they didn't have a chance to try and get used to that hybrid bike that they're riding, as Tia Toomey has completed her second legless rope climb. Carrie Pierce just completed her second legless rope climb on the far side of your screen, and she's moving back to the bike. So Pierce looking to challenge Davidsdottir for second place in this event, as Tia Toomey now opening up a lead.
Now, we have said that this is all going to be about the bike, but with that rope climb event, or the rope climb segment, it's about how you have to pull. We saw Catherine was doing the kip. We saw Tia was actually pulling hand over hand. Now we're on the bike, and it's that hybrid setup. These are not very heavy bikes, but they're very technical bikes. They call it a hybrid because it has a smaller tire rather than your normal mountain bike tire. But what I like to see with Catherine is I feel like she's pushing too much on the bike going into the rope. She should let herself have a little bit more of a recovery going into the rope, because if she's kipping this early, I'm afraid that that's going to be too much for her as we get to rope climb 7 and 8.
Tia Toomey is your leader here in round 3. Catherine Davidsdottir has retaken second place from Carrie Pierce. Carrie Pierce is on the left side of your screen. Approaching the 4-minute mark, and Tia Toomey is off the bike and on for her third legless rope climb.
I mean, look at that. Immediately to the rope and very strong pulls. Just so fast. And she's getting faster and faster as we go. So right there's that kip we were talking about. Now, if you watch Catherine's arms, she's using a lot of extra energy because her arms are never straight. Haley Adams right on the side, her arms were much straighter, and that's going to save that grip for the later rope climbs. That's real important.
Tia Toomey out front. She's in the white and red. Carrie Pierce is in second. Catherine Davidsdottir in third. And it looked like Haley Adams in fourth, as Brooke Wells is just now getting back on her bike for round 4. 20 total scored repetitions in this event. Tia Toomey is through 6.
Look at that turnaround. We talked about the devil in the details. That was a beautiful turnaround. Came off the bike, fast around that cone, right back on. Ooh, and a little stumble there for Carrie.
Carrie Pierce's hesitation there on the transition allows Catherine Davidsdottir to pull basically even with her now for second place. But it's Tia Toomey, as we have said for much of this competition, who is all by herself out front here. And she's getting set to close out round 4. 10 total rounds here, 440 meters on the bike and a legless rope climb.
Watch how fast this is. Running to the rope, chalking, no need, straight up. Look how fast that was. Beautiful. That shows a lot of power in that upper pulling.
Now, in the past with rope climbs, there's usually a mark on the rope where the athletes have to control their descent below that mark. Once they're below that mark, they can then hop off. There's no mark here, so they can come down as quickly and as controlled or uncontrolled as they want.
That's exactly how it was back in that regional event as well. Same thing. You can decide how much self-preservation you want to have on your own race.
And if you remember, it was that event at the regionals of 2014 that kept Katrin Davidsdottir out of the games. So she's looking for a little bit of redemption here. Right now she is in third place behind Carrie Pierce. It looks like Haley Adams may have moved into contention for second place as well. As now Davidsdottir and Adams are neck and neck. Davidsdottir is in the light blue pants. Haley Adams is on the right of your screen in lane 5 in that light tank top, and Carrie Pierce is on the left. And here comes Brooke Wells. So Brooke Wells is way behind right now as Tia Toomey is getting set to close out round 5.
I honestly feel like her seat's a little low. I would hope she would want to have a little bit more of a top-end push on that. But, man, look at these ladies just really getting after for that second-place position.
Good battle developing for second place. Carrie Pierce off her bike first. Right behind her, Katrin Davidsdottir and Haley Adams. Meanwhile, Tia Toomey is done and back on.
Look at the pulling of Carrie Pierce. And we know she has that strong upper body. Any kind of gymnastic pull, she's going to do really, really well. The only thing that's hanging her up is the transition on and off the bike.
Tia Toomey is through 10 of the 20 scored repetitions in this event. Halfway, Carrie Pierce is now in second. Haley Adams is in third, and Katrin Davidsdottir has fallen back into fourth place. This is big for Carrie Pierce because remember, she came in with 325 points, 65 back of Katrin Davidsdottir for second. If Pierce can hang on to second and Davidsdottir finishes in fourth, Pierce can pick up about 40 points on her.
It's just unbelievable how much this leaderboard is just jostling up and down with every single event. But I really think, as much as I said it comes down to the bike, for these ladies, it's really coming down to the rope climb and how they're doing it. That's how Carrie Pierce is able to make up her distance, even with Haley Adams. These straight arms, saving her arms on those rope climbs, whereas Katrin's bending her arms and blowing out so much energy on her body. Starts there, big pop. Oh, now she's not. There's the pop that I want to see. So she gets that last little bit. This actually ends up being 2 extra saves or 2 pulls over what Carrie has to do there.
Carrie Pierce makes a touch. She's in third. She and Adams came in tied with the same amount of points. So they are looking to separate themselves from each other and try and get closer to that woman. But Tia Toomey, this is now just a leisurely bike ride in Morgan Hill for her right now. She's through 7 of the 10 rounds. This is round 8 for her. And she's looking to win yet another event here. And may actually lap Brooke Wells. 11 minutes gone by. This is the 8th of 12 events here at stage 2 of the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games.
See her shaking out those arms, getting ready for this next rope climb so she can hop right back up like she's done every single round. No chalk, which is really incredible. I think most people, when they go to the rope, they think I need the chalk to hold on. That, yes, it helps, but that's just transition time. She's letting the speed of her bike dry her hands off for her.
Toomey back in to close out round 8.
Wow.
Makes the touch.
Beautiful.
And now round 9. Here's the battle for second. Haley Adams right now is in second place behind Tia Toomey in this event. Carrie Pierce is in third. Both of them came in tied in points with 325, both 65 back of Katrin Davidsdottir. Brooke Wells sat in third with 350. So it's possible that Adams and Pierce could both leapfrog Brooke Wells here, and Wells could find herself back in 5th place.
Beautiful turn, beautiful turn. It's almost like it's robotic the way she just is able to get off, around, and back on that bike. There's no stumble at all.
And we've talked about this in other events. There's no other heat, no other times to worry about. Tia Toomey does not need to go all out here. She can now throttle back and save herself for whatever awaits.
You want to know what's crazy is I honestly think, I'm looking at her splits, I'm honestly thinking that she is throttling back just a touch. She's not putting the pedal to the metal. She's going fast. That's how good she is. But you can see that she's starting to slow down just a little bit, just a touch.
Just a couple seconds difference, just to give you an idea of her splits. For round 2, it took her 1 minute 24 seconds. Now here in round number 9, 1 minute 30 seconds. So only a 6-second difference there.
Crazy.
And to be fair, most of the athletes have been relatively consistent here in their split times. Haley Adams has had about a 10-second difference right now. And Brooke Wells has had the biggest difference in her split times, about 18 seconds for her. But Tia Toomey now on her 10th and final round. She looks to pick up yet another event win here on her march towards 4 straight CrossFit Games championships. Haley Adams and Carrie Pierce fighting for second. Katrin Davidsdottir trying to gain ground on the two of them. Final trip down for Tia Toomey.
Incredible.
Haley Adams on the right side of your screen. She's in second. Carrie Pierce is in third. And Pierce, you just saw her on the upper left-hand part of your screen getting set to make the turn. So Adams all by herself in second place. So Haley Adams is going to separate herself from Carrie Pierce and look to move up the overall leaderboard here. Tia Toomey's going to hang on to the overall lead and win yet another event. Tia Toomey is in, and Tia Toomey has 100 more points and made it look easy. 14:37.51 seconds.
Didn't even look back at anybody. Just ran her own race the entire time.
Haley Adams has made the touch, and she is in. So Haley Adams is going to lock up second place overall in this event, and she will earn 75 points. And here comes Carrie Pierce looking to finish third. So Adams is going to pick up 20 points on Carrie Pierce. The two of them came in tied. So Adams getting the best of that battle. Pierce makes the touch, and she is in. That'll be good for 55 points for Carrie Pierce. Now Katrin Davidsdottir, who has fallen off the lead pace. She was pushing Tia Toomey early. And now she makes the touch, and she is across the finish line. So Katrin Davidsdottir, 35 points in a 4th place finish. And the good news is the woman right behind her was Brooke Wells, and she is going to take 5th. So Wells will only earn 15 points. So Davidsdottir will manage to stay ahead of Brooke Wells, while Haley Adams and Carrie Pierce look like they may leapfrog her on the overall leaderboard. So Wells may find herself back at 5th place overall.
the one unique thing about having only 5 athletes is that leaderboard is constantly, other than your chance. If you have a bad event, you feel it and you see it, and that leaderboard just drastically changes.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we came on. You look at the numbers and you think, oh, that's an insurmountable lead, but that's knowing the old scoring system where 3 spots on the leaderboard were 16, 17, 18 points at the worst. Now, you can make up 40, you can make up 85 in one event. And here comes Brooke Wells. For her final rope climb, and that'll do it. So Brooke Wells, a 5th place finish. So this is the points table for this year. 100 points for a win, and then there's a 25-point difference between first and second because they want to reward victories. Second, 75, third is 55, fourth, 35, and then fifth, either 0 or 15. And we haven't seen that 0 points be awarded yet because that's a judgment call that the judges will make if an athlete isn't giving his or her the full effort.
And I really thought that this event had Katrin written all over it. She started off with a bang, and you know what? Just maybe push herself a little bit too much, but Tia just had that perfect pacing for herself the entire race. As we said, she really never came off that split time at all. Once she got past Katrin, I think Katrin kind of let off the gas a little bit. But as she did that, that's when you saw the other ladies in Carrie and Haley really start to make up that distance on them. So then that became the new battle for that second place between Haley and Carrie. And it was a good battle. Haley, she's just a kid, and I know we keep saying that, but you got to give credit where credit is due. She's a kid, but we also hear that she is so strong outside in the outside type of events, and that's what it was. Couldn't hang with Tia, but she definitely was able to kind of ride that wave a little bit and got her up in front of Carrie. But Tia just dominated, just dismantled that event.
Tia Toomey, yet another event win, 14:37.51. Haley Adams will take second place. It's her 3rd second place finish of the competition, and she is with Nikki Fraser.
Haley, this was really a test of how fit are you in the gym? Yes, of course, but what can you do in real life outside of the gym as well? How do you train these types of events with a bike out on a field?
How do I treat them?
Yeah, how do you train for them? How do you train outside of the gym as well?
Honestly, I feel like I just kind of, adapt pretty well. Yeah. So I didn't really get on a bike too much before coming to the games, so I can't really say I trained for it, but sure. I just like to think I can adapt pretty well.
Yeah, speaking of adaptation, we've sort of seen all types of weather already in the last couple days. We go from the dark, cold mornings. Now it is pretty hot out here on the floor. How is that affecting you?
It's been way hotter competing before, so this is not too bad. It's pretty mild, actually.
And after, almost 2 full days of competition, 1 event still to go, how's your body holding up at this point?
I had a pretty rough night last night. Didn't rest well. My stomach was very upset and didn't feel myself this morning, but I feel better this afternoon, and I'm ready to finish the weekend.
Nice. Well, congrats here. Good job.
Thank you.
Overall standings after 8 events, Tia Toomey now has a 245-point lead over Katrin Davidsdottir. But remember, you can make up 85 points in a single event, and that means that spots 2 through 5 are still really close. Only 60 points separate them.
It is insane, and so you have to have a good event. You can't have a bad event, or you just find yourself dropping to the bottom.
It can take a while to become a serious contender for the title of Fittest on Earth. Now, Brooke Wells debuted at the CrossFit Games in 2015, and it was clear that she had plenty of talent. Now, 5 years later, Wells looks to be the best version of herself that we've seen at the Games, and she is hoping to be the first American woman to finish on the Games podium since 2014. Here's more on Brooke Wells' journey to becoming a contender, presented by the U.S. Army. Sometimes it can take a while to live up to your potential. In 2016, Brooke Wells finished 6th overall in just her 2nd appearance at the CrossFit Games. It looked like just a matter of time before she wound up in the top 3. 4 years later, we're still waiting. The wait may be coming to an end.
I'm honestly feeling the fittest I've ever felt. I thought with Corona maybe I wouldn't want to train as much, but it's kind of been the opposite. It's I don't really have anything else to do, so let's just go train. I've been hitting lifts that I haven't hit within like the past couple years. I've been PRing my miles, like my running's the best it's ever been, and I'm just feeling super fit and ready to go.
Wells turned in one of the most impressive and consistent performances in stage 1 of the CrossFit Games.
I'm normally kind of like the comeback kid, like I always have like a really bad workout and then have to like try to make up for it somewhere. And it was really cool to see this weekend that it's like the most consistent weekend I've probably ever had in my life. Just gotta keep working to be well-rounded like that.
In 7 events, she never finished lower than 10th. In 2016, the first 3 events of the CrossFit Games were held in Aromas. Wells won the second one, the deadlift ladder, but she nearly finished last on the one before that, a 7K trail run.
I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, but wow, that was really, really hard. Because, like, you get halfway up the hill and think you were done and turn the corner and you are not done.
That trail run, like, just freaking did me dirty. I'm really hoping that this year we'll have it, and so it'd be really cool to see, like, a huge improvement on that.
That's likely to happen. This year, Wells has sacrificed some strength to work on other areas of her fitness. But that sacrifice will not be long-term.
I know that I can get really strong, and I think I want to get there again just so I can start winning like the strength events again. I think it kind of fell back a little bit as I was trying to get my cardio and aerobic base better, and now that I have that, if I can build my weight back on top of that, it's just going to be like dangerous.
If Brooke Wells has finally reached her potential, dangerous could be an understatement. Now, Brooke Wells has some work to do as she is currently in 5th place overall after 8 events. Tia Toomey doing all the right work. She's your overall leader. Coming up next, the men take on Event 8, the bike repeater presented by the U.S. Army.
Okay, how many people come here that work in the medical field? Nurses, physical therapists, doctors of all types. Let's say somewhere between 50 and 75, probably close to 75. I know that all of my people that come here, that come consistently for a while, I know that they have all gotten just enormously stronger. If they've never worked out before, I mean, that's the wonderful thing about weightlifting is that you can quantitate it. I mean, you see the plates going on the bar and getting heavier and heavier over time. And they get, even though they may be 50 years old when they first start lifting, they get a huge increase in their strength. And that does something to their confidence. Even though they might be a very confident surgeon or, doctor at the hospital, it does something to just your personal confidence in yourself as a human being, that you're strong, that you're fit. Even if they don't even open their mouth to a patient, just their appearance and their posture and their obvious just glow of health on them. The other way would be to have an overweight doctor that's sitting there smoking cigarettes, which I saw in my youth. Doctors don't do that much anymore, but this is just the opposite. This is the most healthy looking doctor you can imagine that's seeing a patient, and if nothing else, the patient may say, whoa, what are you doing? How do you look like this at your age? I mean, I get that a lot because I'm old, and patients just can't believe that I'm still working in the hospital, and that I'm in obviously pretty good shape. And they'll say, well, what do you do? And actually sometimes I carry cards that says Little Harper's CrossFit. If I had to take one title, coach or doctor, I'll take coach. I just think coach is a great title. To me, it's an enormous source of pride to have somebody that's a chairman of a department, at Vanderbilt or something, who comes here and calls me coach. I really like it that people in high places call me coach, and it makes me feel pretty important. We're just here to have fun. I want my workouts to be like a birthday party, I really do. That's something I told them one time. I said, I want this doggone workout to be like a birthday party. I want you to go out here feeling like you really had a good time and that you can't wait to come back to the gym again, and then it's a totally memorable thing. That's the other thing, is that you'll never forget this place because it is so unique.
The beginning of the 2021 CrossFit Games season is just months away. The Open gets going with the announcement of 21.1 on February 18th. Go to games.crossfit.com to stay up to date with the latest on the 2021 season and how you can register to take part in the Worldwide Open. We are through 7 of 12 events here at the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games Stage 2, and it's Matt Fraser with a 330-point lead over Noah Olson, but Olson is only 40 points up on 5th place Samuel Quant, so plenty still to be decided here in event number 8 and beyond that. Sean Woodland and Bill Grundler here with you. Let's start with Matt Fraser, 330-point lead. Now, this is like watching a guy pitch a no-hitter in Game 7 of the World Series, or, bowl a 300 game when the World Championship is on the line. Michael Phelps at the Olympics. What Matt Fraser is doing is pretty incredible right now.
It is history, a truly history in the making, not just in CrossFit history, but in overall sport history, to have somebody so dominant now for so long. And, we wondered was anyone going to get past that number 4 number. He's obviously well on his way, but not even well on his way, but crushing everybody as he's doing that. I mean, technically, it should be all first place right now. We've already talked about that. We don't want to give him too much crap about getting a second. How dare you? But the fact that it is pure dominance, that this is something that will be in the sport history books for decades.
There is a chance that he could win 14 of the 15 events. We don't know some of them that await them, but you got to think he's going to be a favorite every time he steps on the competition floor. After that, though, we just mentioned it, 40 points, second from 5th. So nothing has been decided below Matt Fraser.
No, it's like that now is the CrossFit Games. We get to see the competition between all 4 of these athletes. Now, Noah, again, a lot of hype. He's finally got himself into that contention of that second place spot, giving himself a little bit of a pad of a cushion, but again, we don't have that much of a long, but all the way down. Even Sam Kwan, who's in 5th, he's not out of contention.
Event 8 is the bike repeater presented by the U.S. Army. 10 rounds of that 440-meter bike sprint and that 1 legless rope climb. For more on the bikes that the men will be riding, let's go down to Nikki Brazier.
And these athletes behind me are really about to put their fitness to the test outside of the gym. They'll be on these bikes that you see right here. A couple things to note. These are hybrid bikes, so they're kind of halfway between the thickness and grippiness you see from a mountain bike tire and the fat tires you see that typically hit the road. The tread here, not very big, so the athletes will have to deal with that as they're heading down the field of play. The other thing is they'll have to tread around with the bikes in the end, and they're not particularly light, about 30 pounds just underneath, so we'll see how they tackle this here in this event.
So again, we know that it's sort of a pseudo road bike, a pseudo mountain bike with not a whole lot of tread. We talked about what it's like being on the grass this morning with the lunges, but again, that grass is almost like riding with the e-brake on your car all the time. You always have to deal with that friction. So it's not super easy, but they are definitely going to have to work through here.
Lane assignments for event 8 of 12. Matt Fraser, your overall leader, will be right in the middle of the field. Noah Olson currently sits in 2nd. He'll be in lane 4, and then Justin Medeiros, who is in 3rd, will be in lane number 2. Sam Quant, we haven't talked a whole lot about him. 5th place with 305 points, but certainly not out of this thing.
Not out of it at all. And, he's been right in the middle for the most part, and it's kind of in that eclipsed area. This is a great chance for him to make up some points again. It's really tight, so he needs to have a good showing here, especially when you have someone who's up at that number 2 spot, Noah Olson. Now, we will say, we saw the crowd earlier. Noah's been kind of needing some crowd fanfare. Maybe this is what he'll be in that number 2 position.
We're underway. Event 8, the bike repeater presented by the U.S. Army. And Bill, same keys for this round as we saw for the women.
The devil is in the details. We saw so many transitions. We have to deal with gear changes. We have to deal with moving around that cone and setting that bike back down. Then we have the rope climb that you have to contend with. So there's a lot of movements, a lot of pieces that you can waste a lot of time. Now, we haven't seen anyone throw a chain yet, but that's definitely been something that the course directors were talking about. Also, it's all about the bike. I really think that since you're going to be spending so much time on the bike, you really can make up or break your race on this bike, depending if you come out too early. Now, see Justin Medeiros out there nice and hot. I'm wondering if that's just the youth trying to get the best of him, and he's trying to try to rabbit some of those rest of those guys out of their comfort zone.
Medeiros in the lead. He has no shirt on. He's on the left side of your screen. Sam Kwan is on the far left. And now Matt Fraser in the leader's jersey dead even with Medeiros. The two of them quickly to the rope. Great transition for both of the athletes. Fraser makes the touch. He is done with round one. Medeiros made the touch as well. They are both done. Medeiros back on the bike just ahead of Matt Fraser. Noah Olson is in that race as well, but it is just Medeiros barely ahead by about a tire on Matt Fraser. But now Fraser's starting to close that gap, as is Noah Olson.
I do see that it looks like Matt Fraser's gearing is a little bit low. You can see his feet are moving around a little bit faster than everyone else's. He's not making a whole lot of distance, which allows me to say that he's taking a smaller gear. But you have to be careful about getting out too early, getting out too hard too early. We saw a lot of how it affected the women, where some of them would start to shut down if they didn't have the capacity, someone like Tia. But these men, they know how important this race is, so they are going to get aggressive, and we're just going to be able to see who has that capacity to be able to hold on.
Fraser now in the lead, Medeiros in second, and then it's Olson, Quant, and Adler basically tied for third now, but Sam Quant starting to pull ahead of that race as Noah Olson finds himself back in fifth. On the left side of your screen, Fraser opening up a lead on Justin Medeiros.
And we saw a little bit of that cat and mouse game between Fraser and Medeiros in the long run. I wonder if we're kind of see that same type of thing now, where Matt looks like he's saying, "Come and catch me, kid. See what you got."
The two of them made the touch at exactly the same time, and they will get back to the bike at the same time. And Medeiros is out front, but we'll see how long that lasts, as Fraser with two pedals is now right back in front.
I can't say it enough for Justin Medeiros. I love the fact that he is attacking and he's making Matt have to push. Now, Matt hasn't been in jeopardy at any point, but it's fun to see someone actually taking an aggressive shot at him instead of just shooting for second.
On that last round, Matt Fraser had the fastest time. He completed that circuit in 1 minute 16.10 seconds. Noah Olson was only 1.1 seconds behind him. So that's how close this race is right now. Fraser in the lead, Medeiros is in second. They are in round 3 of 10 right now. 440 meters on the bike and one legless rope climb, again inspired by that regional workout that we saw back in 2014.
Look at the way Matt's tucking those elbows in, trying to be a little bit more aerodynamic. You can see Justin Medeiros on the left-hand side of your screen. Elbows are really wide, so that's blocking a lot of wind here. Matt using a little bit of that triathlon training he's been doing.
Fraser back for round 3, and here comes Medeiros. Fraser makes the touch. He's done with round 3. Medeiros makes the touch, and now on to round 4. 20 scored repetitions in this event. The leader's name will be highlighted in the blue box. The number next to him in the white box will indicate how many repetitions he has completed. So Matt Fraser done with 6 of the 20 scored repetitions. The bike counts as 1, the rope counts as 1. And now Fraser widening his lead over Justin Medeiros. Important thing for Justin Medeiros is that he came in with a 20-point deficit to make up on Noah Olson for second place overall. So Medeiros is doing what he needs to do in order to get to erase that deficit, and he's getting some help in the process.
He looks great while he's doing it. Look at that little drift slide around the cone. He just looks like a kid having some fun out there, just going for the races. What I like about this setup is you don't have to waste time looking back and forth. Because you have to make that turn, you go right back against the field. You get to see exactly where everyone is. So everybody knows exactly how far either distance they're making up or having to catch on someone.
Fraser keeping up a great pace on the bike. He will make the touch. Fraser remains in the lead. Meanwhile, Noah Olson, who came in second place overall, just 20 points up on Justin Medeiros, is in 5th. So Medeiros can make up 60 points on Noah Olson if this holds.
And it's crazy. I mean, look at Noah. It's not like he isn't running in between transitions or isn't really moving or isn't even attacking the bike. He's just not going as fast as Justin and Matt are up in that lead. I mean, if we had the camera just on Noah alone, you'd be thinking he was flying.
Matt Fraser is pedaling the wheels off that bike right now, and he is in round 5 of 10. And here comes Noah Olson, who is in 5th place, looking to make up some ground. And you're going to see Matt Fraser on the way back here in a second, as the 4-time defending champion has basically led throughout this event, looking to pick up his 7th win in 8 events.
This really is a great race between Fraser and Medeiros. Medeiros is just not letting up. He's trying to hang on and keep pressing as much as he can, but Matt is just relentless in his tempo. I mean, the speed that he is going up and down that rope and the way he is really throttling on that bike is incredible.
Fraser back on the bike now. He is halfway through. This is round 6 of 10. Through 10 of the 20 scored repetitions, Justin Medeiros solidly in second place. Jeffrey Adler has moved into third. And Adler came in 4th place overall. He was 35 points back of Noah Olson. So he can erase that deficit if he holds himself in 3rd place and Olson remains in 5th.
You know, with the way Jeff is moving right now, you would think he would be further back. It just looks like he's very relaxed on this bike, but he's not very far behind Medeiros at all. So he is still in the mix, and I think if he, you know, here we are coming down towards the last half of this event, or getting into the second half of this event, really start to put some energy, some power into that bike so you can really get it moving.
Matt Fraser in the lead on the left. Justin Medeiros, he is in 2nd place. Medeiros trying to move ahead of Noah Olson in the overall standings. Medeiros right now 3rd place overall. Fraser back to the rope. Close out round 6.
37.
4 rounds remain for Medeiros and Fraser. Noah Olson, 2nd place overall with 345 points, but right now in last place that would only be worth 15 points. So if Medeiros finishes in 2nd, he would earn 75. That's a 60-point difference. So we talked about it, those big point deficits can get erased in a hurry.
And the fact that the leaderboard just constantly flips like that, it just makes it that every event is that important. You cannot afford to have a bad event.
Matt Fraser now can maybe dial back a bit as he is continuing to widen his lead. Jeffrey Adler, meanwhile, on the right of your screen is starting to push Justin Medeiros for 2nd place.
And I think maybe that, again, there is a pacing element to this event. You are on the bike for a long period of time, so if you can pace it but keep yourself right in the mix, you're going to be able to save it for that back half. Looks like Jeff is doing just that. Medeiros was really trying to keep that tempo with Matt, try to sit on his shoulder the whole time. Matt just ran the energy out of him, which allowed Jeff to kind of make up that move.
Fraser is done now with round 7 as Adler and Medeiros are fighting for 2nd place overall, and Adler has certainly picked up the pace here in the back half of this event, and he and Medeiros essentially neck and neck as Sam Quant, you just saw him pass on the right side of your screen. He is in 4th place. Noah Olson is in 5th. Points table breaks down like this: 100 for 1st, and then a 25-point difference between 1st and 2nd, and then 20 points separate the competitors after that. So winning an event is weighted a little more heavily.
Matt
Fraser makes the turn.
A little slower on that turn, too. So I think he's realizing that it's like, okay, I have a nice, comfortable position, but Jeff Adler seems to have some fire on the right-hand side of your screen, the yellow shorts. Has a little bit of fire under his shorts. He's making that move, and I really like to see that with him. Seems like he's been, like, so, I don't know, kind of just too easy, and I wanted him to get aggressive, and he's doing it.
Matt Fraser continues to attack this course. Looking to close out round 8 of 10. 20 scored repetitions right now through 14. Once he hops off the bike, that'll be 15. The rope climb will be 16. Fraser's done. Now on to round 9. And Jeffrey Adler is starting to push Matt Fraser. So Adler has overtaken Medeiros for 2nd and now trying to reel in Matt Fraser. And Fraser hasn't been this close to another competitor since this event started.
So here's the thing. Has Matt been kind of putting the brakes on a little bit, just kind of relaxing a little bit, being able to conserve a little bit of energy going into this last one while Jeff is really pushing? We're going to have to be able to see in that final round.
Fraser makes the turn. Adler right behind him. But it's Matt Fraser on those transitions. He seems to really get back up to full speed a lot more quickly than anybody else. This is round 9 of 10. So Adler running out of time here to close the gap on Matt Fraser. But he is staying close.
Look at that. Oh, Jeff should be getting fired up right now. Look at that. All right, Matt made the look.
Matt finally looked over at him. And now the race is on here in event 8 of 12. Fraser to the rope at the same time as Jeff Adler. Adler makes the touch, and now it's Adler who is in the lead. But Matt Fraser, again, has been so solid on the transitions. Look for him to make up some ground here. So Jeff Adler now, first place in the event, trying to hold off Matt Fraser, who is really leaning into that handlebar. And here comes Matt Fraser. He has regained the lead from Jeff Adler, but not by much. Remember, this is about where they stood going into the turn on the last round, and Adler was able to get the rope climb done first. Fraser makes the turn for the final time. Now Adler back to the rope for one more legless rope climb. Can Matt Fraser hang on?
Yeah, Matt's getting after it. You saw that look, and he's really leaning in. Look at him go.
Matt Fraser found another gear here, and he is ahead of Jeff Adler, but Adler doing himself a huge favor, 4th place overall, 35 points back of Noah Olsen, so Adler could find himself in the top 3. Fraser to the rope first. Fraser makes the touch, and Matt Fraser wins again, his 7th event win of Stage 2 of the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games, and Jeff Adler will finish 2nd, and he congratulates Matt Fraser. A great race and a great effort from Jeff Adler to make that thing exciting at the end.
That was a beautiful race by Jeff Adler, and I think not only point-wise did he need that, confidence-wise he needed it. That was huge for him.
Here's Medeiros, who's trying to hang on to 3rd place overall. So Medeiros is in. Medeiros will pick up 55 points as Sam Quant is going to finish in 4th, and that's big for both Medeiros and Adler because that's taking more points from Noah Olsen, the man who sat in 2nd place overall coming into this event. Quant is in, and he will take 4th. And now Noah Olsen will finish in 5th and earn 15 points, and once again, the overall leaderboard is going to look a lot different than it did coming in.
I didn't realize we were on the same round until the last round.
I mean, it's almost comical how much flip-flop there is. How you can bounce so much up and down so many different times. But I mean, that's kind of the nature of the game when you only have 5 athletes. I mean, you can only go so high or so low.
Olsen's back to the rope, and you may have heard Matt Fraser say it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he didn't realize that he and Jeffrey Adler were on the same round until the last round.
Pays to be on the outside sometimes.
Matt Fraser is not used to people being that close to him that late in an event.
I got hot.
But 26th career event win for Matt Fraser, the 7th of this competition. Jeffrey Adler, an impressive performance for him as he actually made the champ sweat a little bit there.
Oh, I thought that was beautiful. The fact that he was able to hop up in front was amazing. But we started off in that beautiful race between our champion Matt Fraser and Justin Medeiros. They were going literally head-to-head, rep for rep, stroke for stroke, pull for pull, until Matt just really showed that he had the technical abilities over the rest of the field, especially over Justin on that. He was able to get on the bike, off the bike, around those turns so much better than everyone else, and then just started pulling away. And as he was pulling away, that's when we started seeing Jeff Adler kind of get into the picture. We saw him kind of creep up from that 4th position to 3rd, passing Justin Medeiros, and then was really put that pedal to the metal and made the champ sweat by jumping ahead of him here, going past him on the bike, getting up and down that rope faster, but he just couldn't hold on to that. That's when we heard the champ say, I didn't even realize we were on the same round. You know, it pays to be on the outside. Really made Matt push, made him sweat a little bit, and it was fun to see that battle towards the end. You always want to see Matt Fraser get pushed, and that was a great finish to a really great race.
And 2 competitors congratulating each other for an outstanding effort. It's Matt Fraser, 7th event win here. 100 more points as he's the only man to go sub 13. But Jeffrey Adler put a little pressure on the champ and made it fun there at the end. And he is with Nikki Fraser.
Yeah, Jeff, we heard that telling you that he didn't realize that you were coming right up on him until the end there. How and when were you able to kick it up a notch to really catch up?
By round 8, and then on the 9th round, I actually passed him a little bit, and then I knew it would be a sprint on the 10th, and he went hard. I couldn't keep up, but I did try. That was my max. I was thinking maybe I could catch him just enough so I can go faster up the rope, because I'm pretty quick at going up a rope. But yeah, that was unexpected. I thought I would not finish in the top 3.
Why? Why is that?
It's the bike, like it's unknown. I don't practice the bike as much. So I was like, well, and usually bike workouts, like assault bike, C2 bike, whatever bike, I'm not super good in them. So I was like, maybe I'll just get 5th on this one, but 2nd is good.
Sure. Now, earlier on with the snatches, and we heard you call your shot yesterday, didn't quite go the way that you wanted it to, but I mean, you gave your full effort there as well. How are you feeling after that event?
Well, actually now it feels good, because this morning, like the toes to bar and lunges, I expected what happened, and I was bummed out after that, because I have been working a lot on those kinds of movements, but I mean, I'm way better at snatches than toes to bar. So after the snatches, it felt good, 2nd place, and now 2nd is like, okay, cool, let's go into the final event of the day, finish it on a strong note, and go on to Sunday.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that effort, Jeffrey Adler is now in 2nd place as spots 2, 3, and 4 have all switched yet again. Justin Medeiros finds himself in 3rd. Noah Olson now drops to 4th. Samuel Plant remains in 5th place. Fraser running away with it. He's got a 390-point lead, but just 45 points separate 2nd through 5th.
Yeah, absolutely honored to watch Matt Fraser do his thing here, history in the making. But the fact that here we are going into this late in the event and it's only a 45-point spread is unbelievable. And still, we got one more event today.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready, because we're going back to the ranch, the final event of the day. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but I guarantee there's going to be some suffering.
Every event there has put people into the pain cave. I expect nothing different than that tonight.
If you're going to the ranch, you're going to have a bad time, and we will have it for you in a couple of hours. Coverage begins at 4:05 p.m. Pacific time. For leaderboards, athlete profiles, and all the latest, you can head to games.crossfit.com. That's it for us here at the Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. We're going back to the ranch for the 2020 Reebok CrossFit Games.